Alright, well, another project followed me home here today. Mortal Kombat 4. So I had MK4, and if you recall, I converted it to a multi-MK machine, and I used MK4 as the platform for that. So this popped up locally, and I'm like, well, I need an MK4 because I used my last one for a project. So I went ahead and picked it up and snagged it. Now it is complete, except it didn't have a monitor, and the PCB doesn't sync. It's got problems, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the cabinet itself is fairly good. It just has the typical scrapes and whatnot. There's no gouges or deep cuts or giant chunks missing. There's just, you know, little normal scrapes like that. Little scrapes like this. They put some drywall screws through the side to hold the speaker grill in place. The speaker grill is a bit loose, and instead of fixing it correctly, they just put a couple of screws through there, so I can fill those holes with some toothpicks and kind of sand it slightly and then touch that up on both of these. This is half black, so that helps as well. So I'll get that fixed. Things like this, there's no really pieces of wood missing, it's just the artwork, so I can touch that up, and along here I can touch that up. So there's nothing really bad, you know, giant chunks of wood missing. The front is immaculate. Look at the front. The front is pretty much pristine. There's nothing at all wrong with the front. That's awesome as well. This is going to have to be, you know, cleaned up and painted. That's not a big deal as well, but there's, again, really good shape, not that much damage on the front. Control panel is in great shape. I think the buttons are actually original. Sticks have been replaced, so that's no big deal. But yeah, overall in really good shape. This side as well, nothing really bad on the sides. It just needs some touch-up. And as you can see, it really is overall in great shape. There's a big scrape across here, but again, I can fix that. That's not a problem. And along the edges here, the artwork is peeled off, but I can touch that up. Again, right there, I can fix that. So it's really not that bad. Overall, very good shape. Happy with it. The only real problem is this corner is busted. You can see here that I think at some point this thing fell over and it hit the corner. But I can take the T-molding off and get some wood glue and put all this back together and flatten it back out and fix the crack here and touch it up to where it shouldn't be very noticeable. So that's the only real downside is this broken corner, but I can get that resolved, not a problem. Yeah, okay, so the inside is again all original. And as we can see here, Mortal Kombat 4, USA. And the harness fell out of the holders and stuff from transport, and I don't think they were even held in there quite well to begin with. Original power supply, I can probably rebuild that, no big deal. The back's in good shape. Well, let's see, yeah, it's not carved up or damaged. I mean, even the top here is fairly good condition. So overall, very happy. Okay, so let's get to, you know, it's got the back piece here, and it does have the glass and everything. That's all, and the bezel, that's all over here. All right, so the PCB. This is the original board, and it had sync issues. It would not sync. It would just have, it didn't have a scramble picture, but it was kind of weird. It didn't sync. It had sync problems. Okay, sorry about that. My phone rang. I had to go answer it and deal with that, but we're back here now. So, okay, this is the original PCB that was in this cabinet. And the owner of this machine, when they first got it, it had the sync problems that I mentioned. The board has a sync issue on the sync circuit. So they went ahead and found a replacement board, but it was Invasion of the Abductors. Then they converted the Invasion of the Abductors to MK4 and just did a ROM swap, and then took that board and put it in another MK4. They actually had two of these. They had another one that was in better shape than this one, if you believe that. And it was, so they had another one that was in better shape than this, but it was missing the board. There we go. I was missing that detail. I was missing the board. So when they got a working Invasion of the Abductors, they took the ROMs off of this bad MK4 and put it on the Invasion board, and used that board for their other better condition MK4, and then sold this one to me with this bad board. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So this is an MK4 board that they put the Invasion ROMs on from the other board, the Invasion board they bought, that they converted the ROMs from this one onto MK4 for their other cabinet, because their other cabinet was missing a board. Then they sold this machine to me. So I have an original MK4 board here that I need to re-burn with MK4 stuff, but it has an issue with the sync circuit. So I'm going to see if I can get that fixed. If not, I may have to see if I can locate another PCB, but That'll be down the road. But for now, that's the story of this, is that it's got a sync problem, a problem on the sync circuit. So we'll have to see if we can fix that. But otherwise, yeah, I've got a monitor we can put in here. I believe I have an extra U2000, a Wells Gardner U2000 I can put in here. These cabinets came from the factory with the K7400 or a Neotech 2515C, so there's no isolation transformer, so I have to put in an appropriate monitor that will work, unless I want to put in an isolation transformer, which I really don't want to do that. I've got an extra U2000 that I can put in here. So monitor problem is no big deal. All we got to figure out is what to do about the PCB, and then get to touching up. New T-molding, I'll put new T-molding on. I don't really need new buttons. I got a bunch of brand new switches over here. I got 250 switches. So I'll just change the switches out and we'll call that good. It doesn't really need new Lexan. I'm going to take it apart, of course, and clean everything, but the Lexan's in good shape. It's not all carved up from graffiti. Overall, really, really impressive. It needs, of course, a full cleaning and touch up and paint. New T-molding, new switches, but overall, really happy with how this cabinet is. Like I say, with stuff like this, I'm going to take these screws out, put some toothpicks in there, kind of sand just the little hole, and then touch it up with my paint pens, and it should turn out quite nicely. So, of course, I'll have to fix this the way, because this whole thing is loose on here. I'll have to fix that corner. Overall, not a big deal. So stay tuned. This shouldn't be too big of a ordeal. A nice, quick, easy project. Maybe 2 or 3 parts. It's getting hot, so it's not going to be fun out here in the garage trying to do all this stuff, but I'll do my best to get this done as quick as I can and yeah, show it off at the end. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the project to see how it turns out. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you then.